Hey guys, Nike here. One question I get all the time is, what class should I play for Guild Wars 2 PvE? The real answer is that you should play the class whose aesthetics appeal most to you, because the class you enjoy the look and feel of is a class you're going to stick with longer, and the more enjoyment you'll get out of the game. Not to mention, at this point, PvE game balance is such that you can reasonably play any class in PvE and have a fun time and be accepted into groups for all PvE content, as long as you're willing to change your build around to suit the needs of your group. Like if you're a Ranger main, as long as you're willing to play either Druid or Soul Beast, you will never be put necessarily on the sidelines. But all that said, some people genuinely do not care about aesthetics. They just want a class that combines a high power level, good build variety, along with meta acceptance. And when you take in all the objective factors rather than the subjective ones like fun or looks into account, there's one obvious choice for the best PvE class to play in Guild Wars 2, and that is the Guardian. To put it bluntly, Guardian is the best class to play in PvE today as a new player. If I was just starting the game now and picking a main, I would pick Guardian without hesitation. And you guys do know how much I enjoy Warrior. Part of my reasons for doing so are aesthetic, but let's ignore that for a second and talk about the less subjective reasons. So the first reason is, to me, is that Guardian has a very good weapon variety, and the internal balance between the weapons is generally good. You can play Sword or Scepter in a power DPS build, and the differences are really negligible. To offer one example, you could play with Offhand Torch or Offhand Focus, also negligible. Stuff like that is really good in that it means you can, if you want to play a meta level build, but you happen to prefer one weapon or another for a looks-based reason or some internal mental headcanon roleplay, it means you can use the preferred one without compromise. So the second reason I would say Guardian is the best is that it has several meta builds, and it has role variety in addition to just having multiple builds. You can play a pure power DPS build, a pure Condi DPS build, a power Diviners support hybrid, a Condi support hybrid, a pure healer, a heal support hybrid, or even a tank support healer hybrid mashup. And actually, these all feel rather different from each other, more or less, and a lot of them have, from one end of the spectrum to the other, have very divergent playstyles and party roles. Almost no other profession has the option to slot into so many roles or playstyles within a raid or fractal team as the Guardian. Lastly, Guardian is good in every PvE game mode. Guardian has meta builds in raids, fractals, dungeons, and even open world. No door is closed to you as a Guardian player. And I'd like to point out that in Guild Wars 2, for a variety of reasons, the community has a tendency to be rather class exclusionary if they perceive a class as bad. And since Guardian is good in all content of PvE, that is a problem you don't need to be concerned with. So as a bonus, I would like to talk about the aesthetics of the Guardian, even though it is subjective, but I think they're great. And here's my thoughts on that. First is it uses a great sword in its meta power build, and uses a scepter in either the power or the Condi, and in my opinion, those two weapons have some of the best legendary skins in the game. Also, it's a heavy armor class, which means it also has, in my opinion, the best looking armor choices in the game to help you make your fashion wars. But again, that's all subjective to taste, though I know a lot of people agree with me that heavy armor and great swords are an attractive proposition. So anyway, this is a bit of a long answer to a simple question. What class should you main in Guild Wars 2 PvE if you're new or just starting out, or lost and don't know what to do? The answer, quite simply, is Guardian. Hit me up in the comments below with your thoughts, and thank you guys for watching.